What's going on, Retro? My name is Richard Man here, back with another video. Today, something a little bit different today. Today we're gonna do the Sony PlayStation Trilogy, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. So let's do like a little bit of history of the PlayStation. PlayStation was actually originally gonna be like was actually in the early early 90s. Nintendo and Sony have actually tried to develop a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo, but that actually failed out. So one of their developers, I think is it Yuji Naga, or was he Sega? I don't remember. So he actually made a little nano chip into the the Super Nintendo to make it have more graphics in there. So but actually he did it in secret. But then when Sony found out, they decided screw it and just make consoles themselves. And it's a really big deal. It's a really unfortunate deal. At least the PlayStation was born, and instead Nintendo went over with Philips to see if they can do the system, but they failed. Instead, they made a CD, which is probably a piece of shit DVD player combined with a controller that looks like something I don't know, something Uber Bowl would work on if he does video games. So anyway, let's go with the very first PlayStation, released in 1994. This version is actually this whole console actually broke. This one doesn't work properly. If you guys seen my Twitter videos of actually every time I put a CD in, that keeps on freezing all the time at the main menu, and I actually looked up online and see they need to replace it in there. But instead, instead of replacing the little components in that, I just started buy a new console altogether. So I found one at a friend's house, so he lets me keep in that. It had a little sticker on it. Well, I'll show you which one. No, this one actually works perfectly. It has this little sticker on it. It's the same. It's actually a newer model, and actually newer models are actually much better than that. Anyway, let's put that back and let's go to the design of the console. The console design is actually pretty good actually for the first system. Actually, it's all grayer than actually the actual black console you see there, but at least it was early 90s, so no one cared. It had a weird controller. It actually had the D-pad in that before they actually made it with the analog sticks, which I actually might do it later on. So anyway, this is the very first console. You can see, you can flip it up, put the disc in, put it on, turn it on, and then it will pop on the screen right there. That's my normal television in that. But instead of, you can put two controller pads on it, you can put memory card in it. In the back you can see there's actually a little port there. You can actually put a Game Shark one. There's also an unofficial expansion. You can put it on there so you can play Game Boy games in that. But actually, it's a pretty shit one. So you got the serial one. I don't know where it is. There's the AV port one out, which one plugs into the TV. I tried I can buy an expansion more adapter so I can plug it to HDMI, but it might be all shitty and crappy in that. So at least I can do that. It also has these sides, which I believe has a fan in it. So I kinda like this design, but it's really nice. Anyway, let's go a generation later to the PlayStation 2. And some say the PlayStation 2 is actually much better than the original one, but especially the design in that. I actually heard that the design was actually based on the blue logos basically represents the earth, and the blackness is around space in that, which is a pretty good design actually. I actually first had, this is my very first gaming console I ever had. I never owned it myself. I had to play it a friend that my my family actually owned it, but I never actually grew up with this one. I grew up playing with this one. Yep, this is the PlayStation 1 Slim. It's smaller than its bigger brother, as you can see. And the only problem is, I actually got this at a friend's house, but guess what? Like the PlayStation 1 problem, I actually didn't work properly. But instead of having the problem plugging it in, nothing happens, freezing it actually died completely. I plugged it in, it didn't actually respond in it. And I thought it was the ACD adapter, but then when I found it out, it was something to do with the components in there. So instead, that's why I got a PlayStation 2 for. It cost me about $40 this PlayStation 2. I actually had it with the control. I just didn't have anything with it, but I did have a few games on it. I did have the controller in that. So anyway, this is the Slim. It looks pretty smaller than that, and it's also just like the PlayStation 1. You pull it up and you put the disc in, and you slam it like that, which I kind of enjoy these days. Instead of the PlayStation 2 is a different story. We have to turn it on, which I might turn it on later on. But this design is pretty small. At the back of the PlayStation 2, you can see it's actually much different than the PlayStation 1. You can see it has on and off switch, which I think the PlayStation 2 doesn't have. Yes, it does. It has the aerial ones that you plug into the wall. I should have showed you that with the PlayStation 1, but never mind. But instead, it actually has an actual adapter in that. And there is a fan that's quite big and huge. I might clean it out a bit like an inside. And you get the expansion bay, which I believe you can like put yourself like a hard drive or put some like a memory on it or like a modem in there. But I don't know. I might get that if I can find it if it's more cheap enough. This was $40 and they mostly. These ones with games cost about $200 on Trade Me, so I better not do that. You know, it gets like optional, and there's also AV count, which is normal colors. I think it was yellow, white, and red, I believe. Yep. And it's the same as the other console that has the AC adapter, has a controller, and also has it's a keyboard modem. How come PlayStation 2 doesn't have that? I don't know. Anyway, let's go to the one that I currently own, the PlayStation 3. And this is not the first one I owned. The first model was actually like it's actually the original fat mode, I believe. And the only problem is, well, you guys know the yellow light of death, and that came on. So we tried to clean it out. That did work for like a few days until we got carrying dust. So instead we said, well, fuck it, we'll just replace it. And that was the model. This is the newer models, I believe. It doesn't play PlayStation 2 games, which is sad, probably because of like hardware difficulties. And this is designed. It's similar to the one. The original one actually had a different font on that because it had criticisms in that. So anyway, let's look at the back. It has the network on it. You can have is it an HDMI? See that? It's an HDMI port. I don't know what that is actually. I think it's going to be Wi-Fi. And it is the actual AV. I think the PlayStation 4 actually doesn't have that, I believe, which kind of sucks actually. HDMI only. And also, it has the 2 plugs on it. So that's the whole trilogy. I don't have the. I wish I had the 4th one with you, so it could be a 4th Philly or whatever they call it. So anyway, I gotta like put this away now because my phone's because this camera's about to like die anyway. So before I go, I wanna say, do you guys want me to do like proper reviews on it? Like instead of like doing it all in one video, maybe we can like do proper reviews, like show the controllers or like what they look like on the screen and that. So just like the video or comment down below if you want to see that. So anyway, my name's RetroSocial, and yeah, please subscribe, like, comment, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Tumblr, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Tumblr, follow me on Steam, and add me on Steam, and don't forget to subscribe and be retro today. See you guys in the next video. Bye.